It's Wednesday, November 19th. This is the Automotive State of the Union. Today we have a very special interview for you, but we're also wheels up for the LA Auto Show, courtesy of our friends, Cars Commerce and Kirby. Our first West Coast event. I don't really know what to expect. The weather is not what everybody promised me. I just want to say that up front. Everyone promised me it was going to be beautiful and it's always great in LA and it's never bad. And guess what? It's like in the upper 50s and rainy, apparently, when we're going to be there. But the bright side is we know how to deal with that. It'll be on and off. And if you're on the West Coast, please come out and see us at the show. It's going to be at Automobility LA, which is the day before the show, which is tomorrow, Thursday. And I think you can get discounted tickets to go to the event by going to laautoshow.com/ME. Also, we have a webinar going on today. We're going to be talking about optimizing profit across multiple acquisition channels. This is a major topic of conversation. Our friends at V Auto are helping us put this on, but we're also going to have Dealer on there showing what they're doing across their group. So you can still be there live or get the recording by going to asotu.com. Make sure you be there or get the recording. Get better at what you do. That's what we're doing. So register, go there. If you're in the West Coast, check us out. I'm super excited today. I get to share an interview that I did with Brian Benstock last week when I was at the VinQ Unleashed event in Kansas City. Whenever I have an opportunity to grab Brian, I do. And I very intentionally took a different approach to this interview. If you know Brian, he's kind of high energy. You know me, kind of high energy. And typically when you get two people like us together, the interview can get real excitable and the pace is super fast, which is fine. I've had enough interviews with him like that. I wanted to try to be a little more intentional about my questioning, slow the pace down to unpack a little bit more of why he approaches things the way he does. And we talked a whole slew of topics, certainly talked used cars, talked about how he convinced a bunch of New Yorkers to buy EVs. Really great. We also ventured into politics for a minute. I know everybody winces, including me, when topics like politics come up in conversation. But I will say, Brian is an absolute expert at framing democracy in the way that he does. And with recent elections, the conversation we have, I thought was incredibly beneficial for anyone, because the point of the story is he's like, you do what you do with what you're given and you work to that end. So I think you'll be really interested to hear what he has to say about that. And at the end of the show, stick around to the end of the interview. It's not a super long interview. I asked him a question that I've never asked anyone before. And he actually stopped for a second and he thought, and he's like, oh, he put me on the spot. That's a really good question. So you'll have to wait around to see what that was. And I know there's always something to learn when you're talking about some of the highest performing leaders in the automotive industry. If you didn't know it, Brian is the #1 Honda dealership, not in the US, but in the world. So there's a thing or two we can learn from him. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Brian. I hope you join us at the LA Auto Show. Thanks to our friends, Cars Commerce and Kirby. And I hope you sign up for the webinar today by going to asotu.com. Thank you so much. Enjoy this interview with me and Brian Benstock. Brian, I can't ever let the time go by where you and I are in the same place to not have a conversation.
Been around the world and man. We're traveling.
You kind of see this on people's faces where they're either exhausted or they're energized when they get around other people that are doing stuff.
Yeah, well, if I'm doing my thing right, I'm hopefully turning other people on. I'm really passionate about what we're doing, and the industry, I think, is going to get turned on its head with the advent of AI coming into things. The players are going to shift, and I'm excited about it. I'm not depressed or I'm excited about it.
No, we were just talking about this concept of like AI is not going to take your job or your position. No, somebody using AI is going to take somebody who's not using AI's position.
Well, they're just capable of doing so much more work, so much more output than somebody who's not using it. And again, and the ones that are dangerous are the people that really get it without AI, and then they get even more of it when they're incorporating AI into their workflows to take away those meaningless tasks, or the tasks that can be done by a simple device, and then reallocating that energy and that resource to something of higher value. I think that's what we're talking about here. It's, in real estate, we all understand the concept of best and highest use. Mm-hmm. Well, is doing menial tasks ever the best and highest use of a person? And we tell ourselves that, right? Because they're an entry level employees, so they do entry-level jobs, but they'll be stuck there forever.
Right.
All right. And I don't mind an AI agent being stuck there forever, but we want to be able to have these people graduate to do more meaningful activities and be able to earn even more money. And so that's how we're making that shift.
I mean, this ties into some things that I've heard you say a lot, where your number one job as a leader or manager is developing people. And so if all of a sudden you look at AI as replacing people or sticking people in menial tasks, like that's in conflict with your position on leadership.
Well, what we're talking about now is really I want my BDC managers to replace all of her agents, right? Every single one of them with AI. And then I want to take those agents, I want to put them in charge of going after the opportunities that exist in the service department. You know, we've got the oldest fleet of cars on the road in the history of the United States of America. That's an opportunity. You've got parts going from what
are we, over 12 years on average?
15.
No way.
15 years. So, hey, that's a lot of customers got to come out of those cars, and nobody's talking about that, right?
No.
So let's talk about that, and let's talk to those customers.
Right, everyone's talking about like the fact that we're going to have a used car shortage here. But you're like, great. It's a great time to sell new cars.
Well, you know, what about the 150 ROs a day I've got coming through the shop?
Right.
And what about those cars that are all over 10 years old? What a tremendous opportunity. Now, it's up to us to show the value. It's up to us to create value in the eyes of the consumer. I think we can do that. You know, so we're real excited about redeploying those assets, because if I'm going to go from selling 120 cars, 130 cars a month in service to going and selling 400 or 500 cars a month in service, we need more people.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's what we're looking to redeploy.
I've been noticing something over this past year, maybe longer than the past year, but specifically over the past year, where I've seen you on some major networks giving feedback, giving thoughts on overarching topics, but as it ties into business, as it ties into kind of the American dream of being able to prosper, be able to grow, be able to do. I think that playing that out inside the automotive industry, there's no better industry to actually play out some of your thoughts. Why are you spending and investing your time kind of giving your input on these broader narratives, and how do you see it coming back into the auto industry?
You know, I think your influence counts, and you should use it. You should use it for good things. I try and stay, if you notice, pretty much down the center politically, because I think both sides have great opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
And you know, what are you doing to help people? What are you doing to create better people? What are you doing to create a better society? I think it's a message, and you know, I think if the president is going to do something, not just does it help business, but how does it help people? And you know, we are on the front line with people, and the affordability factor in our industry is extremely important. Can you live in New York City? I mean, we just had Zora Mandani get elected as a mayor, and that's democracy in action. I posted something like that on LinkedIn. People were throwing hate at me, like I'm supporting a socialist. No,
I'm supporting the American system. It was
democracy,
a fair election.
and you can't love democracy when it's your guy, and hate it when it's not. And I think that you know, the voters in America always seem to get it right. They speak with their feet, and at the ballot box, and by all indications, that was a fair election, and he won because there were a lot of people that graduated college and thought, hey, when I graduate college with this degree, I'm going to be able to get a job.
Yeah.
And
it's revealing some other issues that have been growing.
For sure. So, you know, if we're against socialism, then that pendulum can swing back. Then we've got to address some of the concerns, like people not being able to live in the city, like people not being able to pay the rent, like people having their cars repossessed. And I think that's a good message, whether it's a Democrat or it's a Republican talking about those things. I think the very thing that got Trump elected is also what got Mandani elected. Yeah. Trump was saying the prices are too high, the prices are too high, and Mandani was saying the prices are too high, the prices are too high. And they had different badges. One called himself a Republican, and the other called himself a social democrat. And you know, again, my market is a Democratic led market, and I hope that gives some encouragement to the people of the city of New York. And I wish Mayor Mandani a good run. I hope he has a good term, and he does some good things. I don't like a lot of the things he said, but he's here. I can't change that.
Right.
These are the
I can't remember the famous general that says you go to army with you go to war with the army you have, not the army you want.
That's right.
Right. And so in business is war.
Las Vegas, you play the cards that were dealt to you.
That's what we have, and we got to keep playing the game.
And it's my obligation to be successful under whatever terms and conditions I find myself, and we're going to be successful.
So you're somebody that I've known personally and I've seen firsthand be heavily vested in giving back and helping the young leaders lead and being generous with your time and your encouragement with them. Even as we walk around here, countless people come up and say, I'm watching you. And you've made that a real center point of your life. Like, how do I encourage other people to grow? What would you say to people who maybe misunderstand your energy sometimes?
I can be polarizing because I'm strong in my views, and I respect other people that are strong in their views that I disagree with. It's just I don't have time to mess around and try and convince everybody to see it my way. You don't have to see it my way. That's okay. When it comes to people we work with, I try and understand where they're coming from. But I have a lot of experience, and if we're going to do things at the store, this is the way that we're going to do them. I've got the best staff we've ever had at the dealership. Really good people that everybody can like. The likability factor is really high. The eagerness to learn is really high. But it's tough out there living in New York City, and so I can see where a lot of people are coming from with the recent election there.
Thinking about
Paul,
how
as you get older, I'm less concerned about do people like me. I am who I am, and there's a lot of people out there.
And your intentions, you know what your intentions are.
Yeah, sure.
I watch young entrepreneurs wait in line to talk to you just for a few words because I see other dealers saying, I just heard one say, hey, we're trying to be like you. And you said, he's like, competition's we're doing it together.
That's right.
So talk about that for a second, because obviously you're someone who says, I want to dominate the market, I want to dominate the thing, right? Because that's what winners do.
That dealer was from, that gentleman was from a big dealer, a Honda dealer in California, and they're excellent dealers. It's Norm Reeves Honda, and Dave Conant is a phenomenal dealer. And the gentleman there, we always looked at them as the people that we were watching. Can you imagine we're on the opposite sides of the world? And not that they're competition against, Co is with. As they do more, we do more. So Co is with. And it's like runners. I'm a runner, and the runner that's slightly faster than you teaches you more than the runner that's slower. Because he pulls you to get better. So we're interested in personal development and getting better. And competition that's better than us makes us better. And I think it's a really good thing. We don't, you don't want to trip the competition. You want to wish them success so that they can make you better.
All right. There's a lot of tech, a lot of global conversation going on. You and I have had a lot of conversation around what's going on around the world. Be able to be involved with some things.
I have a vision for us uniting the international automobile dealers. We have contacts in Denmark and Paul DeVries. We've got contacts in Russia and Kazakhstan, Canada, certainly Latin America. And I envision having this tech summit at the top of the World Trade Center where we invite the best dealers in the world to come in and ideate together, right? Not the same old people you see at Digital Dealer, nothing wrong with Digital Dealer, but to really have some dealers that are going to come in. They're going to pay to be there, so we want people that are serious there that are going to contribute. I come to events like this and I gain knowledge, and hopefully I give knowledge. It's reciprocal, and that's what we're looking for at a summit like that. And this is
why shouldn't it be here?
Why shouldn't it be here?
It should be here.
And the capital, the financial capital of the world, New York City, top of the world tech summit. Are you kidding me?
It's entrepreneurship was like.
I think so.
Global entrepreneurship was.
And I think it's got real legs. So look forward to doing that with you.
Well, we'll see how that materializes. And look, I think one thing can be said for you or I, like, no grass grows under our feet.
No.
Let me ask you a question. This may be a selfish question, and I've never asked this question to a guest ever, any conversation I've had on camera.
Okay.
What do you think I could be doing differently to be more effective? You know enough about me, and I think enough about what we're trying to accomplish. And
that's a great question. Wow, you put me on the spot. I'd like to see you be more aggressive. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted.
And you know what? I paused, I digested it, and it was still right there. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay. Aggressive is certainly not obnoxious, but how do you take the great that you have and get that to people? And I think a lot of times people wait for people to come to them. Hey, I'm great, come to me. I think you've got to be a little bit bold and be out there a little bit more. Because what you've got, the gift you've got, you have an obligation to share with people. And it's like being a beautiful person sitting at the top of the tower waiting for your soulmate to come to you. You got to go out there and get it.
Okay, I'll take that. Well, thanks for giving us 2 times, and let's make some noise, man.
You got it.